ადგილას მასე ჩვეულებრივად თევზები არიან, იმდენად სუფთა წყალია, ბინძური წყალი არ არის.
მართლა?
Oh my god, iPhone is very cool.
After the little swim, the speaker stopped working, but
I
hey,
wanna swim
it's all
with
about the
Ben.
shot, right?
こんにちは皆さん、テリチャンネルのテリです。
なのです。
いつも動画を見てくれてありがとう。今日はですね、日本に関するこの写真のドキュメンタリーを見ていきます。Have you ever seen this picture in Japan?
No.
なのは知らないです。ეს არის ხო იცი, ხო აი ქუჩებში როა გვერდზე წყალი როა სხია ხოლმე. იაპონიაში ერთ ადგილას მასე ჩვეულებრივად თევზები არიან, იმდენად სუფთა წყალია, ბინძური წყალი არ არის.
მართლა?
私はこの写真は見たことありますか？私は日本でこのような光景を見ることはできませんでした。でもとても見たいです。では、1、2、3。OK。
Hello world. You might have seen images of this online. Sparkling clean water flowing through street gutters in Japan. And swimming in that crystal clear water, colorful koi. Here's a quote from an article I found online. In most cities, drainage canals are the last place you'd expect wildlife to thrive. However, in the city of Shimabara on Japan's Kyushu Island, the street gutters are so clean they are home to hundreds of koi carp.
Yeah, can you imagine?
That's all a giant load of crap. Not carp, but crap. What you're seeing here is a protected, sectioned-off canal that's stocked with koi, a kind of carp, for the purpose of trapping tourists.
昭和53年、町おこしのためにこの錦鯉を放流しました。すると、島原は一躍鯉の泳ぐ町となったわけなんです。
そうですね。
So no, this is not what street gutters, storm drains, storm sewers, drainage canals, or whatever you want to call them, are like in Japan. So, what are they like? Well, I suppose it depends on where you're located. In the inaka, the countryside, you can find these water canals that are quite clear. This is right next to the road, so I think you can call it a street gutter. But the water is also used to irrigate fields, so it's an irrigation canal? It's stormwater and irrigation water? Well, for the purposes of this video, it doesn't really matter. I can tell you though, that I saw a snake slipping and sliding down it, but I was too slow to capture it on video.
Yeah.
Actually, you'll often see snakes, frogs, and birds hanging around in paddies where rice is grown. Now in the cities, you can find streams and canals like this. They're nice to walk along. Kids can play in them. Boys swim in them. With all these water systems I showed, even though they run along streets or sidewalks, the sources of water and the purposes for it being there vary. Some you could actually put a cup in and drink, while others you only do so after the water has been treated at a facility. Okay, so let's start off with the most visually stunning water, the one that spawns misinformation around the internet, the spring water in Shimabara. Shimabara is located in the prefecture of Nagasaki in the southern part of Japan. The reason the water is crystal clear and drinkable is because it's spring water that wells up out of the ground. It's believed that this was triggered when Mount Unzen erupted in 1792. During that eruption, parts of the sea were filled in and a series of earthquakes occurred. It's said that this is how the cold spring started, well, springing out of the ground. Just not like this. This is a water feature. However, this is indeed the site of one of the many springs that popped up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the new lake formed at the site of a graveyard, so they had to dig a canal system to partially drain it. But if you follow the canal, you'll find another cold spring source. This one's so much more visually appealing, as you can see exactly where the springs flow out of the ground. So I read somewhere that iPhones are waterproof, and not having any other waterproof camera on me, I decided to test it out. And what do you know? It worked! Right beside the cold springs, you'll find this tea house with a view like no other. 1,000 tons of water springs up every day out of here. Over here, the cold springs flow out into the street gutters, and the water was so pure that koi started to spawn.
I can't imagine that one day I will
Well,
see
not
this
exactly.
in my eyes.
In 1978, local residents decided to make a tourist attraction by stocking the canals with koi. If you look closely at the canals, you'll find the prison bars. That's right, these koi are being held captive. It's very convenient since you can easily film these koi as they're going nowhere. And once again, the iPhone comes in handy.
Oh my god, iPhone is very cool.
After the little swim, the speaker stopped working, but
I
hey,
wanna swim
it's all
with
about the
Ben.
shot, right?
Oh my god.
so funny.
So was the water as
I
clean
wanna
as it
swim.
looks? It is. In fact, they have spring water stations located throughout, and even a hot spring one. I'm going to try out this water, see if it's good or not.
I want to drink it.
I'm sure it's good.
It's very water was very clear. You can see it in the cup.
Clear, cold.
We have this kind of
It has a
water in
different
our
taste. I can't
village.
tell you what kind of taste it is, but maybe a little bit like
I want to
carbonated.
drink water exactly from this place.
飲みやすい。
本当?
Oh my god.
I'm really thirsty.
Same as the other one.
熱いよ。熱いよ。
熱い？
うん。
It's hot.
こんぐらいでいいかな。いい？しょっぱ甘じょっぱい。甘じょっぱい。
I thought the stations were tourist attractions like the koi,
So
but after
they
spending
have
a few
cold
minutes
one
filming,
and hot
I
one.
realized
Maybe-
I was wrong. Local
Maybe
after
when we
local
go
were pulling
there,
up to make
we
use
have to
of the
put
free,
5-liter
fresh
bottle
spring
and
water.
bring it in
There are
Georgia.
several locations like here as well. It's said that if you dump water on this turtle's head 20 times, you'll live a long life.
Oh, I want to do this.
すごいな。
I will definitely do this, yeah?
If you research Shimabara, you'll probably find images of this, a community spot where the water is separated based
I
on
want to
usage.
lay down.
Area 1 is for washing fish or other food.
特に
Area 2 is
ジ
for
ョー
rinsing
ジアめ
dishes
ちゃ
or
暑い
food.
ですよ。
Area 3 is for washing dishes or food.
Washing
Area
dishes?
4 is for laundry.
Yeah,
While
it
they did
says
make use
where
of systems
you
like
should
this in the
do it.
past, nowadays it's a tourist attraction just like the koi. In the castle town part of the city is where the samurai live, and in one section they
Samurai.
preserved what it was like in the Edo era over 150 years ago. Here, abundant spring water was channeled in the center of the road for daily use. But yeah, this only goes on for a few blocks. The rest of the town looks like this. However, there are 60 cold springs throughout the town that indeed provide fresh, clean, slightly carbonated water. So one thing I came across online was this explanation that koi fish are known to rely on an extremely high quality of water for survival. So the fact that they
Yes.
can thrive in this peculiar environment is a true testament to the purity of the area's water.
Yeah.
How true is that? Because back in Tokyo, you can also find koi swimming around in the street gutters.
Turtle?
But of course I
Yeah,
lied.
there's many
These are not
turtles
street
there.
gutters, but rather water canals that are part of Shinsui Koens. In English, that's a hydrophilic park. Don't worry, I never heard that term before, so in plain English, it means it's a park for enjoying water. The source of this water depends on the exact location and the time of year. The water is pumped in from the surrounding rivers, like the Edogawa, Nakagawa, or Shin Nakagawa, and you can often see it flowing out of these rock formations.
Oh.
Since you can find koi in the water,
am
does that
nature in
mean that
these
the water
kind
from
of
the rivers in
places.
Tokyo are of extremely high quality? Well, after being processed at the local water plants, it's certainly good enough to drink. You can get it through the water fountains at the park, or the tap from your sink at home. But depending on the weather, it can range from decent to not safe enough to swim in. Heavy rainfalls can overwhelm the purification plants, and untreated sewage can flow into the rivers and then Tokyo Bay. So something that confused me was that a lot of these hydrophilic parks have play areas for kids in the summer.
Yes.
Does that mean that kids are playing in pumped-in river water? The same water that is sometimes not safe enough to swim in? Well, we called up the city office and found that for the sections that kids play in, they use water from the purification plant with added chlorine. These parks are only officially
So
open
it's
for
clean
playing in the
water.
summer, so for the rest of the time, some of them switch back to water pumped directly from the river instead of the purification plant. So during the summer, the answer is no, the water is purified and chlorinated. But at other times of the year, then maybe. But whether the water is treated or not, these systems are separate from the street gutters that flow into the storm drains. However, all the water does find its way back into the rivers they came from. So how clean is water in Japanese street gutters? Generally, they're fairly free of trash and well maintained.
Yeah, it's
If
very
there are
good.
koi living in them, then at least for the areas I researched, they are in fact separate water systems and not street gutters. Something that is a bit sad is that right next to the famous example of koi living in the spring water canal in Shimabara, they made a water park for kids. It even won a Handmade Hometown Award in 2000 for its high-quality social infrastructure that creates regional charm. But talking to the cleaners, we learned that the users of the park regularly leave trash, so they shut off the flowing water. We shot this after the cleaners came by, but before they started cleaning, it was surprising how much garbage there was. So even in the area with some of the cleanest water in Japan, you'll unfortunately find places that are not so clean. As a whole, Japan's waterways are pretty clean, but not always as clean as you think.
To watch.
Oh no. I was checking the video for errors for the umpteenth time and realized something. While Japanese street gutters are not this clean, this specific street gutter I showed is. It's a unique hybrid street gutter / koi swimming pool, but it's a street gutter. Cars drive down the street and there's nowhere else for runoff to go but into it. As mentioned earlier, there's 1,000 tons of water bubbling out of the nearby spring each day, providing a constant flow of clean water.
Oh my god, it's really cool.
So yeah, Japan has a koi-filled street gutter full of clean water. Tell your friends.
ああ、めちゃくちゃ面白いビデオだったね、皆さん。
I love the place. It is very clean and it is very pleasant and satisfied, like to see this kind of video. And like I can't imagine how happy I will be when I see this like in Japan by my own eyes.
So I've seen this picture before and I wanted to see where it was exactly, but I thought at first that it was everywhere in Japan. It means that picture what I saw was true and it wasn't fake or photoshopped or something, and I'm very glad about that.
Oh, it made me calm. I want to swim with this fish.
You can see that even kois are swimming, then how much clean it is. I think if I'm walking on that street, it would be very distracting for me because every time I see the koi, even before I was like that, like I like to watch them so much. They are very beautiful and colorful and they are very big as well. And I remember that I was there in one village, Edo village in Japan, and there also there was canal, which they had many kois inside, but there it wasn't so much colorful koi, it was only black ones, but it was very cute. They were selling food of this fish and I was feeding them. It was very fun.
They are so cute.
But they are very funny because of the mouth shape, and when you are giving them something they go everyone is coming like this. It's very cute.
One of the place where I will definitely go when we are in Japan. So this is this place because I love nature and this kind of clean environment.
This is a Kyushu island, and that is its southest part of Japan.
I was very surprised when I saw that in Japan they have this like natural spring too, from where they drink water. Like we have a lot of this in our villages, like
In town as well.
in town, in villages, but in village it's like more tasty. So I want to try it when we are in Japan. So we don't have like hot ones to drink, as I know.
To drink, yeah, because that water is usually for bus, for bus, and that has so much minerals and vitamins. It's very good actually, but I never tried to drink it. For example, our villages, it's very different from town because it has so much like minerals as well, and it's very good for health when you drink. So もし皆さんがジョージアに来たら、ジョージアの村の水をいっぱい飲んでください。It's very good for your health.
And very cold.
Yeah, it's very. 今めちゃくちゃ喉が渇いた。I want to drink water so much. So we have canals in Georgia as well, but only one living creature you can see inside is the frogs.
Or snake. If we had this kind of canals like with fishes inside and
I
like
think
clear,
they would Georgia. They would catch it and just eat it.
No, it's like so beautiful to see. You
Yeah.
know, I would love to have this in our city.
In Georgia, so many people are fishing in the forbidden areas, and I think if Georgian government will do this one in Georgia to like attract the tourists to make one street at least like this, I think it will be impossible because people would start fishing there. Yeah, in Georgia we can eat fishes from lake, from river, from everywhere. We are eating. では今日のビデオはここまでです。最後まで見てくれてありがとう。次のビデオでお会いしましょう。またねー。